boy Infinite Gains, and we're back with a GME and AMC update video. We're also going to be going over costs, curve finance, FFIE, LPSN, and a member request, NUWE. We're going to go over those pretty quickly. Just going to be a super quick to the point video. Make sure you guys join the Discord. That'll be in the comments and in the description. Absolutely free. Make sure you guys check me out on x.com. This is my X right here. Go to my profile. Check me out on x.com. But other than that, let's jump into the video. Again, we tested that 34.65 level twice and got a rejection. And again, we have to have a daily close above 34.65 to have an extended move. Again, I mean, it wasn't a big surprise that we had two rejections at that level. Like it's a pretty big level. So again, we need a daily close above that. It was actually price action actually presented itself pretty good. You had a rejection at your value area high, came back to test your fair value gap, and you're probably going up to test it again. Now, on the 1 hour chart, we have to clear this $37 range, which is this white line that you see on the daily chart. If we go to our 1 hour, you can see price has kind of been bouncing around with the 1 hour value area high in this fair value gap, and you have to clear the top of this range, and that's sitting at around 36.78. So if price presents itself like that, you know, if we clear 34.65, right? So if we clear 34.65 on with a daily candle, and we don't see an explosive move, then it could be playing out something like this, where we come up to test that $37 range, come back to test the value area highest support, and then you have that extended move, which, you know, I'm perfectly fine with that if price, you know, just kind of wants to build itself out, like in this, you know, flag type deal, where you kind of test that $36 to $37 range, come back to test the value area high, and then you have that more extended move, targeting that $70 range or higher. Now, this range is still important because, I mean, it's literally just kind of your all-time high horizontal resistance, I mean, on your daily and weekly chart, right? I mean, so basically in 2021 in May, let's go down to the daily. So in May you hit, what'd you hit? Where'd you flag? You flagged right at horizontal resistance, right? This is your horizontal resistance. Where did you flag? You flagged literally right at horizontal resistance. Like, in fact, you flagged between your point of control and your fair value gap, which is interesting because this is literally your fair value gap at all-time highs. Now, if we go to 2021, where did your flagging occur? At previous all-time highs. So previous horizontal resistance that just so happened to be all-time highs, flag, the price flags right here. Now, it's a super fast flag. I'm not saying that once GME has that impulsive move that there's going to be like a sustained area of resistance. Like, there really shouldn't, but at some point there's a good chance that price will flag, that price will quickly consolidate at some level. And that level could potentially be the $66 to $70 range, before you have a more explosive move to the upside. I mean, you have to think that this is all-time highs, like, right? This is the all-time high, you know, of 2021. So, you know, it would be interesting that, you know, price kind of flags or price kind of quickly consolidates at that level. I'm not saying it has to happen. Honestly, it shouldn't be that much big of a resistance because you've been building price action for so long. But it's definitely a possibility. So that's GME. Another interesting thing that we can kind of see is that price has been surfing this 20 SMA. So this blue line that you see on the screen that's your daily 20 simple moving average, currently at 30.91. price has kind of just been surfing it, which is kind of interesting because you definitely see that same kind of price action in 2021 where price is literally just surfing that daily 20 SMA and just keeps using it as support and finally tests it one more time before you have that NUWE move, right? So I thought that was interesting that you are literally just surfing the 20 SMA to the upside, which is super similar to 2021. And we spoke about that before. But again, just a small recap, you have to have a daily close above 34.65 and you have to break that $37 range to have an extended move in GME. So those two things have to occur before we can get, kind of super excited about price action. If we go take a look at AMC, I'm going to be honest with you, we don't have a lot of wiggle room. This is your weekly point of control right here in this zone. Like, you really don't even have, you don't have anything else, right? You have, so you're at the bottom of your bands. Honestly, I'll just call these Bollinger Bands. They aren't actually Bollinger Bands, but it would take I don't want to explain them. They're basically the same. We'll just say these are Bollinger Bands. AMC is closing at the bottom of your bands. They're closing at your weekly, actually at your weekly anchored point of control. And then this is your volume support zone that goes all the way down to 360. 360 is kind of your last level before this thing is kind of screwed, because this is your last point of support, right? You close at the bottom of your bands on a daily and a weekly time frame, and pretty much the only other level that you have is 284, and that's on your daily chart. And we do not want to go all the way back there. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll give it 360. If we lose 360, it's a very real possibility that 284 could be hit. And that's just being real. This price action has been dog shit. I mean, it just hasn't sustained itself. It's got a rejection from its point of control at 490 on your daily chart. You have 380, so you have to bounce. You literally have to bounce next week or the week after. So I'll give you 2 weeks. But soon you have to bounce from either 380 immediately, or you have to bounce from 360. You just have to you have to recover price action, whether that be through a gap up or whether that just be price kind of builds itself back up to the 490 range. But it literally has to bounce here. And honestly, I mean, I'd be perfectly fine with DCAing at this level. I'd be perfectly fine because it does look like price should bounce here from this $380 to $360 level. But besides that, I mean, if you just have shitty price action and you lose 360, it's, you literally have nothing else but 284. If you lose 360, you might as well just go to 284, straight up. So, I mean, it doesn't actually look like that's going to happen, and most preferably it doesn't. But you have to bounce here. You literally have to bounce at the 380 to $360 level, or this thing is just a piece of shit, and it might even go to 284. And that's just reality, which is it's okay. Basically, to summarize, full stop. It just has to bounce here. It just has to. And that's kind of just all I have to say. And you have the opportunity again, you're closing at the bottom of your bands on the daily chart and weekly. I mean, look at that. You're literally closing at the very bottom of your bands, and on the weekly chart, the same kind of deal. We want to recover 386. That's your value area low. And, that actually looks pretty decent. I mean, your stochastic RSI is bottoming out on your weekly chart. So, I mean, it really should bounce from this level, genuinely, we should bounce from this level. If we look at costs in the 4 hour, yeah, I mean, we found support. We have this kind of trend with our stochastic RSI. Price wants to try to break out of this kind of choppy price action. we should have support at around 709. You basically, this thing should chop to the upside until we reclaim 927, and that's kind of the next level of where you can start having more explosive price action, because you can kind of see in these two moves, price literally just gets above that point of control right here, explosive move, tests the point of control right here, explosive move, tests the point of control right here, explosive move. So kind of your next zone for really an explosive move is 927. And so really it's just stuck in this range. It should do something like this where it kind of stair steps up, and then you have that explosive move at 927. But really, yeah, cost is just ranging. It's just kind of bouncing around. I wouldn't have, too much concern over or have my eyes on it until we kind of reach that 927 mark. But yeah, you have support at 709 to like 680. But preferably we kind of just chop to the upside, kind of try to break this stochastic RSI wedge here and try to come up to that 927 mark. So that's costs. Curve finance. Curve finance is just super easy. Like, literally all there is to it is you just DCA. You DCA at current levels, like full stop. You DCA at low 80s. You DCA in the 70s, and you DCA in the low or in the higher 60s. So like anywhere in this zone, like I'm DCAing in this zone, like full stop. Oh, I don't know why it's not letting me draw. Okay, like literally anywhere right here, I'm DCAing. And where am I targeting? Well, kind of your next target on the daily chart would be like 336, but is this the Binance chart? Let's go to the Binance. Oh, this is the Binance. Let's go to the Binance weekly chart, and it's just so obvious, like that it's around like 240. Yeah, so 242. I mean, full stop. I'm targeting 242. Like, I'm DCAing here, and I'm targeting 242. Like, worst case scenario, like literally worst case is you test your daily 100 simple moving average at 60 cents. No, but like seriously, like that shouldn't even happen. I'm literally DCAing at this level and targeting 242. Like, full stop. Full stop. I think that's a good strategy. On the 4 hour, you have to reclaim $1, but I mean, you have to think that this thing's been up over 500%. It's literally just ranging. It's just trying to find its footing, especially with Bitcoin having this kind of extreme price action. But I'm DCAing at these levels. I think you should DCA. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna DCA. I'm just gonna keep DCAing, and that's in targeting 242. So that's my strategy. Again, I'm hyper bullish on CRV. I have no problem with the pullback. I have no problem with a reclaim of $1. Like, either way, I'm literally just DCAing. So and we've gone over this. We've kind of gone over this plenty of times. Honestly, like, right now I can't tell you one way or the other. This is kind of right now in this particular zone, it's like very tricky. Like, it's obviously a bear flag, but it can break to the upside, it can break to the downside. I'm not really sure. I'm fine with this, or I'm fine with a recovery like this. So, like, either way, I'm DCAing. There's no real way to tell right now. Honestly, the price action is presenting itself bearishly. You have your stochastic RSI in the upper range, and you also have pretty obvious bear flag. So, even if we do come back to the 60, high 60s, like, I'm still dollar cost averaging and having a bullish, price target like 240 or even above. So. I saw someone mention FFIE. It's currently at $1.56. Yeah, I had made a Twitter post about this, and I said that I'd be a buyer at the gap fill, which we are at the gap fill. So maybe I gotta be a man of my word, right? And I gotta buy some. No, your 4 hour has literally completely bottomed on your stochastic RSI. You're in your volume based support zone. This is just super nasty price action. I mean, you had broken your point of control. Your point of control moved to 334. Price got rejected and just had this super nasty dump. Yeah, I mean you could find support here at a $1.56 or at a $1.53. If we go even lower, I would say if 156 breaks, then you'll go to 130 to 125, 125. I would rather think about this on the daily to weekly chart. I don't want to look at this on such a low time frame. This daily looks really ugly. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, if you have support at a $1.54, I would be a buyer here, but with a super quick stop loss below like a $1.50. I would be a buyer here with a stop loss at a $1.50. If we pull back to a $1.20, then I'd be a buyer again. This price action is just not that good. It just I mean, obviously this thing is insane. Obviously this thing can have super crazy, PA, but your stochastic RSI is not even fully. Yeah, I mean you're at support right now. To be honest with you, you're testing this point of control with your volume based support zone. I mean your stochastic RSI is fairly in the lower range. Yeah, I mean I'd be a buyer here in this zone. I'm not gonna lie, I would. But I gotta put my money where my mouth is, so maybe I'll buy some calls come Monday. Yeah, I mean I would be a buyer in this zone right here. I mean for sure. Even though the chart looks like shit. I mean that weekly chart looks like garbage. Just look at that candle. It's more than a full engulfing. You just fully engulf that shit. That's not the best thing in the world. But I'd be a buyer in this zone at $1.56. That's kind of our next support zone. So I'd be a buyer here, to be honest with you. Yeah. So I'd buy at $1.56, even though your stochastic RSI looks like garbage. But we're perfectly fine with that. But just set kind of a quick stop loss at like a $1.50. I mean, if you have options, you're kind of just YOLOing it. That's kind of my deal. Like, if I'm playing options like with this, it's too risky. Like, the chart looks like shit. I mean, this thing could blow at any moment. We do have support at a $1.50, at a $1.56, but it's like I can't. It's too risky. Like, there's not a good setup, right? And it's like you shouldn't be forcing anything. So FFIE is certainly something that I wouldn't force a position in. Like, for example, I wouldn't. Like if I had a serious portfolio, like FFIE certainly wouldn't be in it. I mean, just look at the macro chart. The macro chart looks horrible. Like it's just literally all it is just a continued downtrend and a random spike out of the middle of nowhere. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this entire downtrend here, and you have one weekly that had a super crazy move. So for months upon months, you got absolutely destroyed. In one weekly, you had the opportunity to go long. So the odds are really against you. This thing is super high risk. It's not something that I would be putting any money that like is, that you're not willing to lose pretty much, because this is not a stock where like I would have a legitimate position in. If you're throwing in like 1-2% of your portfolio like just for fun, okay, then yeah, definitely I would be a buyer here at $1.56. But to be completely honest with you, this isn't something that I would be playing options on. This isn't something that like I'd be going for like a legitimate strategy or like a legitimate play. But yeah, you do have support at $1.56 if this kind of suits your fancy and you want to have like a super high risk trade that has a lot of potential. Then this would be it. Your next level beyond $1.56 would be at 99 cents. So yeah, I'd be a buyer here. Just for like a fun little YOLO play and that has like a decent amount of potential, then I'd be a buyer here. But it's still risky as hell. I'm definitely not saying go out and buy FFIE. Like I'm super bullish on it. Like definitely not. This thing is like a high risk trade. Full stop. LPSN. We actually talked about this quite some time ago. You're kind of breaking this trend line here. So, but you do get that initial rejection from it. Let's just go back down to the daily so we can get kind of a better picture here. Yeah, I mean, this chart is just super choppy. Yeah, this chart is just super choppy. There's no real clear structure to it. Your stochastic RSI is in the upper range, and you're kind of getting a rejection at this point of control here. I would have no problem with it coming back to your point of control like $1 and then coming back up to retest like this and having some kind of structured breakout like that. Yeah, I'd have no problem with that. But I mean, yeah, you have an opportunity to break this trend line here, certainly. But I would want to see something like that. I want a price action to build itself out like that first. If we came back to retest like 105, or even $1.25, your 4 hour stochastic RSI looks to be bottom. But again, just for the risk aspect of this, I'm not even touching it until we come back to at least $1.24 and preferably $1. Like I don't care if tomorrow it gaps up to $1 billion. I wouldn't even take a position in it until like at least $1.24 or like $1 range has been hit, and then I would kind of think about going long and seeing if we can break that value area high at $1.72. Yeah, personally, I would just wait. I would just wait for some downside. Even if this thing moons, like who cares? Like the setup just isn't there right now, and I would kind of just wait until $1 range, $1.24 to $1 range to come by. We kind of reevaluate, and I'll make a update video then. But if you're not me and you see something that I don't, and there's a position waiting for you, okay, that's fine. I just don't see anything myself personally where it's like the risk is good enough. If anything, I'm temporarily bearish until like $1.24 or $1. Okay, we're looking at NUWE. I've never looked at this stock before. This thing looks horrible. Holy cow, look at that. That's not good. You've had, let's just say, we'll go from here. You've had 3,080 days of perpetual downtrend. Yeah, this is a member request. Somebody on Twitter asked me to check it out. This is not a good bet. This is not good. You do have something going for you. You hit your weekly value area low at 92 cents. So hey, what do you have to lose? If this was the time for a bounce, it would be now. It would literally be at your value area low at 92 cents. So, okay, I can't even. I'm sorry. This stock just looks horrible. I personally myself would not take a position in this stock. If I was going to, I would take a position at 92 cents with a stop loss at like 90 cents. 90 to 92 cents might be an entry for you on the weekly chart. But to be completely honest with you, this chart looks horrible. But I might be a buyer at 92 if I was forced to. Like, gun to my head, hey, you have to buy some NUWE. Alright, I'm buying at 90 to 92 cents with a stop loss at like 88 cents. And that's the best I can do for you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This weekly chart does not look that good. But okay. It's possible for some upside at 92 cents. That's your value area low. So if you're gonna buy, I guess now would be the time to do it. Now would be the time to risk it. But Personally, I wouldn't be touching this thing. Anyways, let's go back to GameStop, and again, just kind of recap. You have to have a daily close over 34.65. You're kind of riding your daily 20 SMA to the upside, and then you do have to clear that 1 hour resistance at like $37 before you can have an extended move to the upside. But things look good. I've heard a lot of conversation about the January 17s, like 125s, and the AMC Jan 17s at $27, which, unfortunately, the AMC Jan 17s at $27 have literally gone bidless. Like, you can't even sell them anymore, which is unfortunate. And I'm not trying to sit here like hey, I told you so. I don't give a shit about that. Like, the thing is, like, I try to warn people, and I try to kind of, I'm obviously never gonna give financial advice, but like a week ago or something like that, like a week and a half ago, I told people to kind of reevaluate their strategies, especially surrounding the GME Gen 125s, because it was a miracle. Like, they were trading for like $20 to $30, like $30 at one point. They were trading like a week or 2 weeks out, and it was like, holy shit! Like, please take your money and roll it into a different position, right? Because it's just not worth it. I mean, I saw people on the internet and shit saying that, like, they have to be in the money. Like, the January OPEX has to be utilized, and we're going to the fucking moon. Like, does it have to? No, it doesn't have to. It literally just doesn't. Like, it just, not literally next week, nothing could happen. And people were gonna kind of confuse that with me being bearish. I'm not bearish at all. In fact, I'm extremely bullish. I mean, you literally tested 34.65 twice, and you're just waiting for a breakout. Like, you're literally at the breakout point. Like, you're almost there. Like, you have almost built the required price action for an extended move. Like, you are very, very close. But the fact is that nobody knows when NUWE is. Like, straight up. Nobody's been able to guess when it is, ever. Like, I've seen so many people saying, X, we're going to see X dollar amount this week. We're going to see, last week, we're going to see $100. MOAS has to happen this month, or MOAS has to happen this week. It's all bullshit, bro. Nobody knows. The best I can do is try to guide you through price action and tell you, hey, the value area high, 34.10, 34.65 is going to be resistance, and you're probably going to get rejected there, and then you're going to have a daily close like above 34.65 and get a rejection at $37, and then build price action that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to ride the 20 SMA to the upside. Like, you're going to make higher lows. I mean, literally right here, I was telling you guys we're going to make higher lows. Like, I try to guide you through price action so where you can kind of maneuver and make a strategy for yourself about your GME and AMC positions. But as far as a time frame, as far as anyone guessing when, no one's been able to do it, not even one time. I mean genuinely. Like, genuinely, anybody that's tried has genuinely embarrassed themselves, which is why I don't even attempt to think I know. I don't even attempt to say I know, or any bullshit like that, because nobody does. Like, it's just a fact. So it's kind of unfortunate when I see people over leveraging themselves, and they have like fucking 5,000 options for like GME 125s during OPEX, which is like, all the power to you. It could be true. We could literally go to $125 next week. It genuinely could be true. I have no freaking idea. I have no idea. Do I think it's probable? I actually think it's improbable that we hit $125. And, if you're talking about 60, 70, we have a super crazy run, like, but you would need a miracle for $125 to be hit. And I saw people, like, their whole freaking portfolio was in Jan 17s, like, their whole thing, bro. And I'm like trying to warn people, like, what are the chances that those actually hit? Like, you could have sold them when they were $30 and like rolled or like bought shares that don't expire, like, whatever. I'm just saying this because, like, I genuinely want you to make it, and it's been such a long time. I mean, you got to think that that initial move happened in May. Like, we have been here for a minute. Like, you have suffered for like months and months and months and months, and you could just imagine that would be the worst kind of fate, to have your options expire worthless and it be too expensive for you to buy in, or you just miss the whole move completely. Like, that would suck, and I don't want that for you, because that's just brutal. Like, that is freaking brutal, man. And so generally, I just want you guys to succeed. I want you to have a good, some good risk management, some good strategies about your portfolio, and I don't want you guys to have clouded judgment and listen to me or listen to anybody. Because I'm gonna fully admit, I don't know when the fuck Moas is, and nobody does. Anyone claiming that they do is full of shit, and that's just facts. Show me one person that has predicted this shit, flawlessly. You can't show me one person. You can show me a person that has a big ego and thinks that they know that they fucking know everything when they don't. But generally, including myself, I've messed up so many times with GME, and I try to guide you guys the best I can. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's your portfolio, and you guys have to actively manage it, but kind of have a clear head, because I've seen so many dates be hyped up, I've seen so many options expire worthless, and I've seen so many people lose all their shit, all their money, and I don't want that for you. So genuinely have a clear head. Don't over leverage yourself, and just have a good strategy for risk management. But other than that, this is the whole video, and I appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And hey, hopefully we have a super good week. I mean, hey, it is true that it is January OPEX. Some crazy shit could happen if it's a requel. We're coming up on the anniversary. Literally tomorrow is the anniversary of the beginning of 2021 MOAS. So, hell, if we do have a complete 4-year anniversary, that would be pretty freaking awesome, wouldn't it? So, hey, let's have an awesome week. If we go to $125, that would be freaking amazing. So, anyways, that's the whole video. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.